Okay, so we're going to get started. Mr. Singh here. He's actually a software engineer who specializes in security and compliance. All right, Singh, take it away.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. What a fantastic 2 days. I know this is pretty much the last talk after 2 days, and I'm surprised to see there are so many of you here. I really appreciate that. My talk is The Road to Developer's Heart. I thought of naming it as various things, but if I could write a wall of text here, that would be how security practitioners and software developers can work together peacefully, productively, to safeguard our business and customers, or something like that. What I'm going to talk for next 20 minutes. I've been a software developer for more than 14 years, and I worked as a security jobs and responsibilities for a few years in that. During this journey, I get to see how different the perspectives are from both sides, and on how to solve the problem or what problems to solve even. On top of that, every project comes with certain constraints, finite time and budget. When you add this constraint to the difference in perspective, it creates challenges. Challenges become friction, and things get escalated. In this talk, I'm going to talk about a few things that helped me and my team in the past to reduce those friction, and end the talk with Q&A. Before we get any further, why does it matter, right? If there is a security issue or a security requirement, you can escalate, push people to get things done. Why not do it? But in my opinion, it's not just about solving one or few problems at hand. In the long run, we need to protect our customers and data, and you cannot do it alone. You need allies, you need to get help from wherever you can get. So, for the long-term success, security and software teams need to work together and feel like they are part of the same team. Can we reduce all the challenges? Maybe not, but we can at least try. So, first off, building trust. This is a very obvious thing to say, but it's really hard to do consistently. When everybody works together as a team, day in and day out, it's relatively easy to build trust because you see them every day. But most of the time, security teams work with software teams on a short-term engagement, and it doesn't give them much time to get to know each other. Okay. Sorry, I was supposed to have a GIF here. It's not there, but yeah. So you work with the team for some at the last minute. Work with the teams for a few weeks, and you identify some issues, and you work with the team for a few weeks, and you identify some issues, and you tell them that this thing cannot go live. It doesn't really help build trust. So, how can we fix it? Unfortunately, there is no one right answer for this one because there are a lot of human elements involved here. But I'm going to call out some of the things that we can do in the future slides. But at this point, I'm going to tell some things, how things have changed once you establish the trust. Early in my career, I used to be very hesitant when working with security professionals to share some of the things that I thought might be wrong. But once I established the trust, and once I established the trust, I go to them whenever I couldn't solve any of the nice-to-have security feature in my product roadmap. I go to my security peers and ask them to advocate for it, and it really works. So developers know the product in and out, and they know where the backlogs are. And sometimes, once you build the trust, they will bring you some interesting stuff that you didn't even know existed. That's a very good reconnaissance opportunity. All right. There used to be a time when it takes months to get any security consultation done, and thankfully, things have changed now, which is further better. Having easy access to security teams helps reduces the development velocity when building things or fixing bugs, and it is more helpful than you think. Again, it's one of those things. It's very easy to say, but it's very hard to do when everybody is busy doing something. So, find your revenues. It could be periodic office hours, or review forums, or like establishing a asynchronous communication mechanism through which the velocities are a little bit faster. That would help teams to build faster. Also, staying engaged with the teams through various events like periodic monthly learning series, or something like sending even a weekly newsletter or something like that. Letting the team know that you are available to help, make them feel like you are part of the team, and it helps build trust. So, cool. Unfortunately, I want to just a disclaimer. I had a lot of GIFs in the final presentation. I'm not seeing that here, so I'm kind of a little bit surprised, but that's on me though. So, engaging early. So, early detection of issues help reduce the cost, and that's for the very reason organizations started shifting left, which is a great thing. But at the same time, shifting too left might cause disruption to the product development, especially in the early stages. Because early in the stages, developers want to build fast, build scrappy fast, iterate on it faster. But if your organization have a lot of red tapes and processes, then it might be hard to move faster. So at the same time, security should not be an afterthought. So we need to have a balance here by working with software teams to customize the processes so that they can move faster, but still it is safer. There was a time when I was part of a security organization, when I was part of a team. One of the teams supposed to do an annual audit, but they couldn't find time until end of the year, and they decided to do before they go on vacation. And they did a great job. We had a bunch of issues during December first week, and some of them were expected to be fixed before end of the year. Fun, right? So things like that could have been easily avoided. Or if we have given advance notice, that would have helped us prepare better. Unexpected things happen, like Log4j, but we cannot do anything about it. But if something can be planned, let's not let that be a surprise. I talked about a couple of soft skills and program management skills that we can use in the past 2 slides. Now I'm going to talk about how we can leverage technology and practices to make life better for both teams. Automation. Doing things over and over again is a chore. Obviously, nobody likes to do it. It could be things like running automated code scanning tools, or checking for software misconfigurations and things like that. So finding a way to automate these things can be helpful. Once I was a part of a team that was heavily using database programming language, for which there is no widely available static code tool available. We were doing a lot of manual reviews, and it was error prone. Finally, we found a tool that was like, we procured the tool, and then we were all happy that it's going to fix all the problems. Once we integrated it, we realized that it's borderline unusable because of the false positives. So we spent a lot of time working with developers specialized in that language to fine-tune the custom rules, and then we made it workable. It was a lot of work initially, but it was a great investment for both software and security teams. So this is one such example. You could do similar things with other tools, like maybe software configuration, misconfiguration checks, or even coming up with the mandatory security test cases, and then integrating with existing CI/CD integration. Good. Once I was part of a security team, and one of the teams came to us for a consultation. Application team came to us for a consultation. We had a really good, specialized, smart infrastructure security person who started giving deep down networking solutions. And some of the solution we didn't even know at the time. And it was not prototyped, and then we don't even know how that would fit into existing ecosystem. And the team left with more questions than answers. So things like that and ideas like that are great, but if you are not able to integrate with, if the developers not able to integrate with the existing ecosystem, it doesn't really help. Or it is a bit unrealistic, in my opinion. So that solution could be the right long-term solution, but if that is the right long-term solution, that should be a separate initiative, because it is very hard for developers to build a new security solution when they are still trying to solve the software problem. So providing realistic recommendations are very helpful for the software teams. Most of the security questions or even software questions can be answered with "it depends," which is vague at times, because without getting into the details of things or nuances of things, just answering "it depends" it's kind of make lives harder for many people. At the same time, as a security professional, you don't have to find all the solution. It's just that we're sitting with the software teams and understanding all the various options available and helping them find the right solution might be super helpful. Also, you could do some tabletop exercise, kind of lightweight tabletop exercise kind of activities in advance, like before the project initiation, and kind of talk through all the foreseeable scenarios and how to address them. And that might set the baseline for software teams to apply some of the security things when they start building the product and the process. And they can embed that in the process. Security is a job zero for most of the organization, or job one, however you say it. So if there are any security issues, you should escalate, and that there is no question about that. But avoiding unnecessary escalation and having a consistent risk assessment framework goes a long way. And also, when you escalate, having a defined mitigation or success criteria helps the team tremendously. The worst thing that can happen is you get called in to fix the issue in the middle of the night, and you go see the solution, and the solution is along the line of "it depends." It doesn't really help the case. Also, if you are a part of a large organization, you might have multiple security teams trying to solve the security problems, and they might have their own priorities and trying to do the right things. And they might be running campaigns all at once, but at the receiving end of it, there is one team that is going to get all the issues, and that is not fun. And when the team is very resource constrained and they get all the issues at once, they're going to prioritize themselves on which problem to solve first. And basically, now the question becomes, if it can wait now, why don't we do it before, right? So ruthlessly prioritize issues within your team and across the organization so that it is escalated based on the impact. Cool. Finally, I'm going to talk about a couple of cultural things that we could do to make things better. As a security practitioner, when you try to change the culture, organization culture, or introduce a new process, you get to see when you see teams do the same thing over and over again, it's kind of frustrating because you feel like teams are not listening to you, but that is not the case in general because security is always considered an afterthought, and now we are trying to bake that into the mainstream system. So when you do that, it takes time and practice for team to get used to it. So changes take time. Sometimes you don't notice the changes that's happening, but it doesn't mean that the changes are not happening. So the one thing that you can do is find your allies within the team, so they can be part of the team, and during the project planning meetings, they can ask questions to the teams like, hey, have you considered time for doing security things in this? Or have you, this doesn't sound right, can you go talk to a security person, right? Things like that and reminders like that makes a huge difference. I have seen organizations change their security culture over the period of 12 to 18 months through constant reinforcement and reminders. So keep pushing, changes will happen, it's just a matter of when. Finally, I want to end this with one of my personal story. Almost half of my career, I just learned bare minimum security required to do my job. And in 2017, I started working with a security engineer for one of the projects I was working on. And he recommended me to take some trainings. And I took them, I really enjoyed it. And I started talking to him more about security, and I eventually ended up joining their team. Then I was recommended to go to various events like BSides and everything, and I get to see whole life cycle of security things, like from AppSec to infrastructure to CloudSec and everything, and then I expanded that knowledge within and outside of work. With that knowledge, I wanted to contribute in my day-to-day job, and I have been a security advocate ever since in my day-to-day job. And also, I started scouting for people to take similar training so that they can make a difference too. So if it is not for that one security person, I wouldn't be here. So mentoring and coaching people in workspace and creating communities makes a big difference. Also, you can't possibly in all the rooms where you want to make the difference, so you can force multiply through people you mentor and coach. All right, that's all I have. Once again, thank you so much for coming to this talk, and yeah.
That was amazing. Okay, Singh, we do have one question for you, sir.
Thank you.
Can you give us an example to what you meant by be specific?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, thank you. This is something like we run into a lot. Whenever we go and ask for, whenever we work with security teams, sometimes the teams, it could be developers try to explore a lot of new frameworks and things, and sometimes the answer become very generic based on what they already know, like without getting into the specifics. Oh, I have seen this before. Maybe you could do this to fix things, and like without understanding the nuances. Because whenever we go to security people to get some opinion, sometimes we might have spent like reading through the framework document, or like we might have tinkered with the whole initial one. We might have taken the 101 classes and played around with that. With that knowledge, when we go talk to a security person and they are not understanding what we are working on, the internals of it, and giving a generic recommendation on, hey, go do this, go do that, that is kind of, it's not giving us, that confidence that like, okay, that person is not understanding and giving generic solution. So that's what I mean by being specific on things that you wanna, address. Yeah.
Okay, well, that was fantastic. We appreciate you, Singh, and we have a little something special for you from Socket Security. Thank you all for coming. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And I just want to thank all of our volunteers, of course, all of our sponsors, especially Socket Security, for giving every presenter a gift. That was lovely. We look forward to seeing you next year. We're going to wrap up a little bit early. You can just take your flow, relax a little bit before the next and last presentation of the day. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.